Today we're going to show you how we installed furring strips into the ceiling. This is a good idea if you're going to put up a custom ceiling in your schoolie. We started off by removing old nails and screws from our repurposed 2x4s to convert into 2x2 strips. Then we measured the area to plan out furring strip placement.
If we vary the sizes, that messes with our furring strip calculations.
Of course, I would want something complicated.
She is woman.
After crunching some numbers, we figured out how many furring strips would be needed, their sizes and spacing, so that the future ceiling material would easily attach. That little wedge helped us out so much.
With this old table saw, it doesn't have necessarily the most square guide on it.
Plus our wood was reclaimed, so it was pretty warped.
After we made our first run of a 2x4 through the table saw, we went ahead and put the combination square up to the wood to make sure that we had our blades squared off to the table.
Looks pretty good. Our measurements were perfect.
2 thumbs up. Twice.
So we went ahead and batched a whole ton of these things because we knew we were going to need a lot. Usually once we get into a flow, we batch our work.
Especially when it's super repetitive. So we mocked up a couple strips and then went to calculate on our paper to see how many we would actually need. Then we got to work.
We've been super fortunate to be able to borrow some really nice tools from my dad.
Now that we have a whole bunch of these little furring strips already sized, we went ahead and put them down on the table, and Aaron got to work marking them with a tape measure.
I found that the more blocks I put together, the faster it was. I also added my own little flair. Using the combination square at first seemed smart. As we got going, we realized we didn't really need perfection. We just needed a spot to put the holes.
With a whole box of these babies all made, Aaron went over to the drill press to start getting some holes punched.
I usually take on the job as the drill press girl because honestly, it is just the most soothing machine. It's easy to use and very safe.
We went ahead and set up a guide on the drill press so that we didn't have to measure each time, and we could just put the wood straight up to it and it would punch a hole directly in the middle of the line that Aaron drew. After Aaron pre-drilled the pilot holes, I went ahead and used a boring bit to countersink the hex head screws that we're going to use. Come to find out, the length of the 2-inch self-tapping screw includes the little drill head, and I did not factor that in originally. If we were to do this project all over again, the 2.5-inch screw would have been a better option because we could have skipped the step of countersinking.
Time to test out the furring strips. Entrance explosion sound brought to you by Brian Garcia. Oh, come on now.
What?
It's time of peace and love, babe.
I know, this is a clamp. I was clamping.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we've already prepped our furring strips and preset our, what are those called? Our hex head self-drilling screws. So we've marked where the center point is along the hat channel here. Oh, this is not an airplane. And we have an idea about what type of ceiling we're gonna put in. We're not gonna get to that yet, so you're gonna have to stay tuned. But we know where we need our furring strips. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set them in between where the wood is gonna end up being for the ceiling, so that we've got something to screw into that's wood and not screwing into metal. That way we help with the thermal bridging and stuff like that. Help reduce it. So we're gonna have one on each side, and we're gonna also put a little bit of construction adhesive on it. So we're on this test, we're not gonna pre-drill the holes because we have self-tapping screws. So let's see how this goes. A little bit of construction adhesive. Oh, this is a brand new one, so it might. You're gonna come out smooth. There.
Use the strength you have within you.
Within me. Probably just put a little line there. We don't want to put too much because we don't want this stuff going all over the place.
I see what you're doing there, Garcia. See you.
All right, so that should just set it in place. They look pretty even. So we'll go ahead and see if this idea works. Yeah!
Is the heart the right direction?
Yeah, I don't want to unclamp it yet.
Is the heart the right direction?
The heart is the right direction.
I did that for a specific reason.
I know, and I looked at it.
All right.
All right, I'll pull this down now that those two are done. See?
Wow, look at that.
So I want to put this back on just to prove that the heart was in the right direction.
Finally. How about on the other one though? Heart in the right direction? Okay, good boy.
So that held pretty nicely. We're gonna go ahead and that is a successful test. So now, when the wood is coming across, it'll be able to screw into both pieces of wood. I didn't really want it to hang below because we're kind of limited on height space because of how tall I am. And we're already gonna be pretty close between the floor being insulated and the subfloor and what we're doing for the flooring and the wood coming down. It's gonna be pretty close, but it's gonna be livable.
What's this wood for?
Oh, hello there.
Just when you thought you didn't get enough furring strips, folks, we're gonna make more. There's a sale on furring strips.
All right, so since we had the first batch of furring strips, we went ahead and counted them all, see how many more we needed, and we only did about half as many as we need. So we went ahead and grabbed another wheelbarrow full of just 2x4 ends that were cast off from projects and stuff from the other barn. And now we are going to fabricate them back into our little furring strips. Yeah.
250 more, folks.
Doing a little batch action here. So originally, whenever I was doing this, I was doing one, and then I put in the screw, and then hammer it in. So like, pretend it was like, I would go like this. Oh, okay, let me throw these screws in here, and let me tap them in. All right, they're tapped in, they're flush, good. But it was too many motions. It was like wasted back and forth, back and forth. So now, what I've been doing is lining up 10, and then I am doing the kind of countersink with one of these boring bits. So now I'm just batch boring these countersunk holes so that the heads of the screws fit in and the socket also fits in whenever we're applying these, because the screws aren't quite long enough. I thought 2-inch screws was gonna be enough, but whenever you're looking at it, the threads don't quite meet the metal. So we have to countersink in about 1/4 inch or so, and then the thread can catch and then it tightens up on there. So that's what we're doing.
I just smashed that. I can't believe he's doing all of these. This sucks. This job sucks. Don't. You're not even pushing. It's hot.
How many more ribs do we have to go?
You're gonna do them. Oh, okay. One more.
A little bit more.
Just seems.
All right, stop.
Safe.
We need to bore it out.
Really?
I'll do it.
We're gonna bore it out. You might be thinking, Brian and Aaron, what's the deal with all these goofy hearts all over your furring strips? Well, there's a little bit of method to the madness. I had this idea that when we put 2 furring strips like this, that the screws may hit in the middle because these are monstrous screws. So I thought first, well, what if we stagger the lines? What if when we measure in, what if one is like 3/4 of an inch over and the other one is an inch over? So then when they come together, they would just miss each other by a hair. Then I thought, oh, well, what if these are the exact same and then they had a heart in the middle so that you would know which way they face. So then when you put them on the rib, they would just miss each other. I don't know if this is the best plan, but it's adorable no matter what. And just putting some love into the bus. What do you think? Has this been a successful method?
2 thumbs up. It's working. And the little hearts are super cute. They're gonna live in the ceiling forever.
Yeah.
It represents the love of us.
Yeah, this is our love child. If anyone's asking and wondering, if you have kids, this is our love child. He's ruining my frame with blurry.
I just made it clean for you.
Solid nipple shot. All right, back to work. Basically, the moral of the story is, if you put the hearts the right direction, the screws or bolts won't collide. Shh. Bye.
All right, so here's a spot that we can't clamp because we don't have clamps that are deep enough. So what we do is we put our bolt through. We've got a few threads sticking out so it catches the metal. And that is the self-tapping screw right there. So basically it's like a little drill bit that is attached to the front. And as you see here, I've already started it. So you can see how it's already started drilling through. But then I was like, maybe I should pull this out and show you what it looks like. So it's gonna do its own little drill job. So check this out. Oh, it fell over. All right, there's its spot that it was already on. So we're gonna start drilling into it. There you go, nice and tight. Did it. I drew little hearts. There you go. There's a furring strip.
He's on the home stretch, folks. What you got?
Last one. Smoked shoulders.
Your dang old miracle.
Smoked round boys, as you call it, right?
That's
round boys.
Round boys. This is round boys. Get it, baby.
Let's see if we can get in there. Oh my gosh. Did we just finish?
You did it!
Oh.
You're a miracle.
That was rough.
Look at all those.
It looks brighter in here though.
Way brighter.
Just by having those pieces of wood.
How cool is that?
Very cool. Super cool.
What's next?
We've only been working on this for almost like 4 days maybe.
About 4 days.
About 4 days. And that was a lot of screws. It was about 36 furring strips per rib, 34. Some of them less. Screwing in all of those was hard.
You're so white. Good job.
Yeah, and my hands hurt. Ugh. Oh, you can see all the red on them.
Oh, you're a trooper. Looks swollen.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh my god. We monster trucked the last part of that. Wouldn't you say?
I would say that we pushed hard on that one.
Especially this guy. But we like went all in because we got most, like, I don't know, just over half the way done. And then we were like, well, we need to make more pieces. So we chopped a lot more, we drilled a lot more, we drilled some more. And then we drew some more lines. I drew a ton of hearts. It ended up just like being a cute thing and a loving, flirty. It was a flirty thing.
We were jamming out some music also, which was a lot of fun. And,
dancing.
Yeah, so that was a tedious project. Not impossible, obviously, because of exhibit A, B, C, and D, all the way through 500 and who knows how many there actually are.
Silly.
Yeah.
It was silly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't hard to make the blocks, but the repetitive movements get a little bit draining, especially for the one who's stuck doing the ceiling.
That was me. Yeah. But don't be discouraged.
No.
Never be discouraged. Like, just take it by the horns and just make it happen.
So we had
a good
lot.
job.
Oh, you did a good job too.
Thanks.
We had a lot of people concerned about spraying the ribs. People from the Facebook group were concerned. People in our comments here on YouTube were concerned. Some people said it wouldn't cure. Some people said it wouldn't do squat. Something we do know for sure is that it cured. we did the brownie test, and we got some long sticks, and we shoved them into the ribs, especially in places that had less holes, to make sure that it cured. We were able to get them in there pretty good, and yeah, no wet residue on the poker stick.
That's where the brownie test comes in, just in case you didn't catch that. Now imagine a dark, chocolatey, gooey brownie, and you've got toothpicks to test it to see if it's done. That's what Aaron's talking about. Shoving a stick into the spray foam to see if it cured. That's where that ties in.
Don't you just want brownies now?
I'd love some brownies right now.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. This is such an awesome community. So if you haven't yet, click subscribe, hit the bell so you can be notified when we come out with fresh videos.
And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. We so appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. And until next time, friends.
Adventure on.
Adventure on.
Bye. I like to do it.
Just when you thought you hadn't got enough furring screws, folks. Furring screws.
So,
just when I thought it was over, see this right here? Missed putting those. Thought I was done. Then I turned around and I wasn't done, son. Good thing this is a lot of fun. Oh, jeez. That's why when you're building a schoolie, you're never done.